years ago, the United States of America, Mike Arnold, called for the designation of the Sokoto Caliphate as the brainchild behind the terrorism currently going on in Nigeria. When this shocking statement came out from the man who is standing for Christian genocide, putting a stop to it, we were all shocked. But could you believe that in less than 12 hours, Sahara reporters came out with some heart-breaking and ground-shaking revelation? They said that nothing less than 23 Northerners are behind terrorism financing. Okay? Among these 23, we have Kano indigents, we have Maiduguri indigents, but guess where the biggest fish hails from? The biggest fish that goes by the name Alhaji Ladan Ibrahim, a public civil servant, he hails from Sokoto. Guess what position he holds? He is the executive secretary chairman of the pilgrimage. That means people that take citizens, indigents, to what? Saudi Arabia. This is not just a conversation we can have with our minds being rested. No, this is an alarming situation that we have here. What is going on in Nigeria is very clear that some particular set of people have decided to ensure that Nigeria, by all standards, gets Islamized. And for me, I think from what Sahara reporters has exposed, from what we can see, we can maybe come to a conclusion that for anything to happen against this terrorism, the Sokoto Caliphate must be questioned indeed. Because we cannot be feigning that, well, don't let us call people out. Don't let us be, maybe biased, be bigoted. At this stage, we have so many Northerners. Out of the 23, I searched the names, trying to find out, maybe I'll find one or two Southerners. In fact, I saw a name that nearly looks like a Southerner. I saw Ima. When I saw Ima, I said, Imake. I went to check. Then I found out that he's a Northerner. His name is Alhaji Musa Ima from Maiduguri. A Biru de change. So from there, it doesn't matter if he's a Christian or not. However, I've been able to trace his state of origin from the north. So we know clearly today that the alibi, the excuse that it is the international communities that are behind this terrorism financing as what has been trashed and thrown into the bin. Okay, there's nothing like the international communities are the one aiding, enabling. Is a lie. There's a common saying that says that if the wall is not broken, there is no way on earth a lizard can get through into the wall. So if you tell me that you have one hole in your wall and then you have thousands, millions of lizards coming into your house, the question is, why can't you get a cement and plaster that hole so that nobody will come in? But when we check, because what Sahara reporter has done is they have gone to check the wall, okay, the border, the barrier, which should have stopped the terrorism to be getting more successful in the north. When they found is that on that wall there is 24 people who are what? Opening holes on the wall. So that's what it is. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no propaganda here. Ladan Ibrahim, who has been flagged as the biggest fish, as reported by Sahara reporter in 2022, at one point in time was called out. In fact, then the families of some people who were pied by these terrorists, who were unalived by these terrorists, cried out to Buhari that, why are you delaying the prosecution of this man? Ladan Ibrahim is the guy in charge of the welfare of those that go to the what? To the pilgrim, which is Saudi Arabia, Medina. So you can imagine the hassles he will have if this report happens to be what? forensically audited and happens to be true, genuine by 100%, right? Then you can imagine the hazards here, because he's the one in charge of what? Welfare. You will have a lot of cash, because when they take Nigerian people to Medina, he will be the one doling out cash if they need to buy cash. So he has access. He has access. So there's a possibility. And Buhari didn't what? Do what was needed to be done. Buhari did not investigate this person. They just simply what? Swept the case under the carpet. But 3 years after that, Buhari is long dead and gone. One of the greatest things that happened to Nigeria was Buhari gone. Because I know if Buhari was still alive, his influence will still be used against the northern people. Yes, that is how influential Buhari was. A single word will shape the minds of almost 90% of the northern Fulanese. That is how powerful Fulani was. After the Sultan, then it was Buhari. When it comes to the influencing the thought process, the decisions of the northern Fulani oligarchs, that was how they were ranked. So Laden, I believe you must clear your name. I believe the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and General Musa will swing into action. Do not let this case to just, lay low. Because we cannot begin to have our Nigerian civil servants, which are being paid by the Nigerian taxpayers' money, at the same time sabotaging their country. People like this should be treated as a traitor. They should be charged on the treasonable offenses, and of course, we know the consequence for that. It is death. If they are convicted, if they are prosecuted, interrogated, and if they are found guilty, if Laden Ibrahim is found guilty at the end of the day, I am calling General Musa, please take capital punishment on him. Because we cannot have a country whereby we as a people in the South, are we not also feeling the brunt of the economy? Are we not also being impoverished? But we will not take or think of financing terrorism. There are so many people in the South that could occupy such position. Don't we have executive secretary of welfare of pilgrimage in the South? Don't Christians go for pilgrimage? Why are they not financing terrorism? Or is there a belief that if Israel wants to finance the Zionist movement in Nigeria, they wouldn't? But the Nigerians and Nigerian Christians or the Nigerian Southerners have no reason for that, because there is no ideology of conquest, perhaps, in that religion. Maybe that's what it is. From America to UK to Italy to Rwanda to Burkina Faso, Islamic radicalism has become an issue. And this is why we keep saying that the Sultan of Sokoto, his influence on religious matters in this country must be checked. It must be reduced, curtailed to the barest minimum. There are so many positions that this person occupies that needs to be reviewed, needs to be rotated. Things like he will become the perennial chairman of the NSCIA, the Nigerian Sharia Council. Such things needs to be what? Reviewed. It should be rotational. There should be like an election, or maybe rotational between the two geopolitical zones. So maybe when the Yoruba become the chairman, the next 4 years, next it will be from the north. That is how it should be. That is how it should be. Because with all the evidences I have, in front of me, it is crazy and scary that again the Sokoto has appeared to be a top state where a big profile fish player has been fingered once again. Do you also know that in this terrorism financing, a Fulani man in Niger Republic was also flagged? So we know. See, General Musa, NFIU, all these people must understand that solving this issue is not rocket science. Not rocket science. I mean, if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu could have been arrested right there outside Nigeria, then we must understand that there are so many civil servants in NFIU, the National Financial Intelligence Unit, in the DSS, in the EFCC, in the police, in the customs. There are so many civil servants there, public servants, that are sabotaging because they have what they gain from this terrorism. Yes, I am saying it. So one thing the Tinubu administration, General Musa, who is the new, very loved Minister of Defense, must do is take a look at the civil service. You have gotten a precursor, you have gotten like a signal, like all the northern states, their welfare secretary, who are what in charge of pilgrim to Medina, all of them should be interrogated. It's as simple as that. But there is a possibility that there could be a collaboration across states. Yes, there could be what we call interstate collaboration. You know, these things don't just happen, because when I am eating in a business, right, I will have this notion to try and bring my brothers into it. So Laden Ibrahim cannot be in this alone. I know. So they should confirm, interrogate the Maiduguri, they should interrogate the Pilgrim Welfare Secretary of Kano, Katsina. They should do all these things. It needs to be done. Yes, because they are the one who will, of course, have that free access way to Saudi. And they are the ones that might possibly, because when you look at it logically, be linked with the Islamic expansionist ideology. Right? These are just speculations, not a direct allegations. No. All right. So what we have is we are dissecting what is actually going on in Nigeria. Why the Nigerian country as a state, if these things are not done, will fail. And why America came to a conclusion that the Sokoto Caliphate will be designated as a terrorist organization. You know, there are so many things that was said about the current Sultan, how at one point in time, he was a military attaché, which is like an ambassador to Palestine, Afghanistan, especially during the time the Taliban were almost at their peak. When the Americans and the Taliban, it was during his time when the Sultan of Sokoto was still a military general, a brigadier general, where they said some Nigerians were caught fighting alongside Taliban. So these things, are too intertwined that at the end of the day, you might want to think that, okay, maybe if the Sultan is behind this. No, we need to have a forensic audit. But there's one thing about the America that we cannot just wish away, is when they release information, when they give you high level data, don't just sweep it away. We shouldn't be like Buhari, and I hope Tinubu will not be like Buhari, because Buhari got information free of charge. They gave Buhari names of those behind this terrorism financing. Hi, Buhari, whatever Buhari is now, he will suffer the consequences of a blatant betrayal of the Nigerian people. Buhari gave us an excuse. They gave him a list. Dubai gave him a list that these people, some of them are in Nigeria, some of them are in UK, some of them are in Dubai. However, from what we found out, they are in connection with the Muslim Brotherhood that has been tagged as a terrorist organization. Also, they are siphoning funds from the Nigerian government in exchange for weapons. They have direct links with the Boko Harams, with the ISWAPs. Here is their name, take it. And what did Buhari do? Baba just simply collected that letter or envelope, wrapped it, and did what? Just do like this. C'est fini. If there's anybody that is a bigot like Buhari, I don't think we will ever have it. A man who didn't want to risk anything by throwing his man, his people, his men of same tribe under the bus. Buhari was such a person. Under Buhari, we saw how the Miyetti Allah, they became a formidable force. You know now, is that not the fact? The Miyetti Allah almost became a terror. Where the Miyetti Allah were coming out, courageously challenging the people across the South that they have every right to graze their cattle, in another man's ancestral land. They came out, they started carrying guns. Buhari and another northern governor said they are carrying commodities worth millions, if not hundreds of millions. So they need to protect themselves. This was what we have. It doesn't matter if it was AK, it doesn't matter if it was pump action, but they justified it. Indeed. And they upgraded. So today we can see what is going on, where everybody is almost scared. There are situations whereby the Fulani herders, maybe the few innocent ones, are saying that they are getting attacked, that they are scared, that the very moment the United States of America said that there is Christian genocide, the very moment that the United States of America said there should be a removal of Sharia and Hisbah police, and the very moment Tinubu said let there be state police, that they have been aggressively profiled. You can't blame people. You can't measure how people react. I can't be a middle belter and have seen my friends getting attacked. I have seen my friend's business or my own business getting assaulted. And then you expect me to be in return to be quiet? No, nobody does that. So whatever the Fulani herders are getting, it is just a reminder, a stark reminder that they need to modernize. There can't be a case whereby they will be going to the Senate and been defending free roaming of cows across the country. Let us watch them arguing in the Senate with Akpabio.
Cows are not citizens of Nigeria.
So, Mr. President, cows are not citizens of Nigeria.
You didn't hear what I said. Senator Aderu, are you arguing with me?
No,
I said cows are not citizens. The section you are referring to is talking about citizens of Nigeria.
Yes.
And cows are not citizens of Nigeria. Cows can come in from Niger, they can come in from Chad, anywhere. But cows are not citizens. So your point of order is noted, but rejected. You want to make contribution on the debate?
Why Nigerians, we have become so edgy now. Maybe because of the food we eat now. We eat so much of Maggi. We have become so impatient that we don't want to listen to each other. We don't want to, provide solutions that will be workable to our country. Mr. Speaker, I sit here, my colleague is saying the cattle, the herdman, values his cows more than the lives he is killing, which is not true. You can't sit down here and just make conclusions. Yes, the herdsman values even the life of the cow more than his own life. That is how God has created him.
No cow, not even 10 billion cow, is up or has enough value like a human being. It's not for one human life. So when you say God has created them in such a manner that they value their cows more than human beings, I find that very insulting. And